Hello and welcome to Rudra IAS. My name is Kumar Anuj. My friends, in our today's discussion, we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is India-led international initiatives, meaning all those initiatives, programs, missions, alliances at the international level that are specifically led by India. Since they are led by India, so they establish the image of India as a global player. So that's why they are extremely important for our exam perspective as well. So here in this class today, we'll discuss all important India-led initiative, India-led international initiative one by one to have precise understanding as per the requirement of our exam. So my friends, when we talk about India-led international initiatives, then the first initiative that comes in our mind, that is ARDO, A-A-R-D-O, A-A-R-D-O, A-A-R-D-O. It stands for Afro-Asian, Afro-Asian Rural Development Organization. Rural Development Organization. It stands for Afro-Asian Rural Development Organization, meaning Africa and Asia, cooperation between Africa and Asia for the rural development, So this is the organization which is first major organization, or we can say initiative, international initiative, that is primarily just initiated by India, or we can say that India played a pivotal role in its formation. So this is the first major initiative, ARDO. It originated from the first Afro-Asian Conference. Afro-Asian Conference on rural reconstruction. This Afro-Asian Conference, this first Afro-Asian Conference, this took place in New Delhi in India, meaning India hosted this first Afro-Asian Conference. It was hosted by then our president, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So this conference, the first Afro-Asian Conference, it was hosted by India in New Delhi, and in this conference, it was decided that there should be an organization named AARDO, Afro-Asian Rural Development Organization. So it originated from this conference that took place in India. That's why we call it India-initiated initiative or India-led initiative. Though it is not strictly led by India, but since it origins from this first conference that took place in India, and India also played a pivotal role in its formation. India was also one of the key founding members of this AARDO. So that's why we call it India initiated or India led initiative, global initiative. Now, but it was formally established, meaning it was decided in the first conference that AARDO should be formed, but it was formally established in the during the second Afro-Asian Conference on Rural Reconstruction that took place in Cairo. Where is Cairo? In Egypt. Cairo in Egypt, in Africa. Egypt is a North African country. So when the second Afro-Asian Conference on Rural Reconstruction that took place in Cairo in Egypt, then this organization AARDO was formally launched, formally established. And there were 5 key founding members of this organization. Those were India, Japan, Malaysia, Egypt, and Libya. So these were 5 key founding members of this organization. And this AARDO, my friends, it is mandated specifically, it is mandated to have a south-south cooperation. South-south cooperation. South-south cooperation, meaning a cooperation between global south countries. South countries meaning developing or semi-developed countries, like African countries, many of the Asian countries. So it was basically just boosting south-south cooperation for the rural development, meaning in terms of agriculture, reduction in poverty, infrastructure, various types of rural development, meaning those segments of economy that boost rural development in developing countries of Africa and Asia. So this was the mandate of this organization. It is still active organization, still it is active, having over 30 members. It is still active organization and having over 30 members, meaning 30 countries as its members, almost equally from Africa and Asia. And India is one of the key founding members of this organization. So this was the first organization here in this series. Now coming over the next organization or next initiative, which is led by India. So my friends, when we talk about next initiative, which is led by India, then it comes in the form of IDY. IDY. What is IDY? It is International Day of Yoga, as you all know. International Day of Yoga. International Day of Yoga, as we celebrate each year on 21st of June. 21st of June. So this is another India-led global initiative, International Day of Yoga. It was originally propounded or proposed by our Prime Minister Modi, specifically proposed by our Prime Minister in 2014 when he was addressing 69th session of UN General Assembly. When he was addressing 69th session of UNGA General Assembly in 2014. But it took some time, and finally United Nations formally adopted, formally recognized, formally established. United Nations formally established in December 2014. In December 2014, it formally established my friends, it formally established the date of June 21, as it was proposed by our Prime Minister Modi when he was addressing 69th UN General Assembly, June 21. Why this date was proposed? Because this date, June 21, it marks the summer solstice in Northern Hemisphere, meaning the longest day in Northern Hemisphere. It falls on the date of June 21. So it has astronomical significance for us. That's why Prime Minister Modi had suggested June 21 to be in a national date of Yoga Day. And finally, United Nations, it also recognized this date to be as a date of International Day of Yoga in December 2014, my friends. Now, when the summer solstice that takes place in Northern Hemisphere in June 21, then there is a question for you all, that when summer solstice takes place in Southern Hemisphere. So you'll have to find out the date and then drop your reply in the comment section below, my friends. So this was finally recognized. Now this date became as in a national date of celebration of Yoga Day each year. And so the first, since it was established, it was formalized on December 2014. So the first yoga day, first international yoga day, first international day of yoga, it was celebrated, it was observed only in 2015 on 21st of June 2015. And this first celebration of International Day of Yoga, it also established a Guinness record of the largest yoga class that took place in New Delhi. So this first celebration, first reverence or first observance of this International Day of Yoga, it also established a Guinness record for the largest yoga class that took place in New Delhi, my friends. And by next year, meaning in 2015 this happened, and by next year in 2016 we see, that UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage List. In 2016 we see, next year 2016 we see that yoga also got inscribed on UNESCO's, what is UNESCO? United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. It is an UN organization. It is a UN organization. So in 2016, yoga was also inscribed on UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage List. There is a list known as Intangible Cultural Heritage List, my friends. So next year it again got momentum. Yoga again got momentum and global recognition when it was inscribed on UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage List. This is a premier list. This is a premium list that inscribes the cultural heritages from all around the world, key cultural heritages. And since yoga also got inscribed in this list, so it also formally got global recognition as a key cultural event from India. So my friends, this happened. And if we talk about if we just talk about this year's yoga day, meaning the yoga day that took place in 2015, meaning 21st of June 2025, sorry, 1st of June 2025, this year's yoga day. So this year's yoga day, it was of course celebrated with same fervor as it is celebrated each year, but the theme of this year's yoga day, which is important, which could be asked in our exam, the theme of this year's yoga day was Yoga for One Earth and One Health. One Earth, yes, Yoga for One Earth, One Earth, One Health, One Health. Yoga for One Earth, One Health. So, and this was 11th, this year's celebration of International Yoga Day. It was 11th celebration of International Day of Yoga that took place on 21st of June 2025, and the theme was Yoga for One Earth, One Health, meaning it combines the health of person, individual's health, with the health of the earth, our planet, meaning it combines individual's health with the planetary health. That is the theme. For example, both the health, whether it is planet's health and individual's health, they go together. If we do not take care of planetary health, our health will also be endangered because of pollution. As we see, we are not taking care of the planetary health. We are polluting soil, groundwater, etc. And finally, they are harming our own health. So that's why this theme was very smart. It was establishing a link between individual's health and the health of the planet as a whole, so that we should take care of the planetary health, and in return, planetary health will take care of our health. So that was the theme of this year's Yoga Day. Now, my friends, coming over the next initiative, which is India-led international initiative. That is very popular initiative and known as ISA. ISA. International Solar Alliance. As maybe you all are familiar with this. International Solar Alliance. Solar Alliance, my friends. International Solar Alliance. Very popular alliance led by India. This alliance, it was formally just co-launched by our Prime Minister Modi, along with the then President of France, President Hollande. So it was co-launched during COP21, co-launched by India and France. India plus France. France co-launched. It was co-launched during COP event, during a COP event known as COP21, and this COP event, it took place in 2015. So it means this ISA initiative, it was launched in 2015 at COP21 event, and since it was taking place in Paris in France. So this International Solar Alliance, meaning this India-led global initiative, it was co-launched, conceptualized by India, but co-launched with France, India and France, at COP21 summit, at the event which was taking place in Paris in France in 2015. So this is all about the launch of the International Solar Alliance. Now coming over the mandate of the International Solar Alliance. The mandate of the International Solar Alliance. So my friends, it mandates to deploy solar energy, specifically in sunshine countries. Now, my friends, the question arises that what are sunshine countries? So sunshine countries are specifically those countries that either fully or partially fall in between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Cancer in northern hemisphere and Tropic of Capricorn in southern hemisphere, as we know. So in between these two latitudes, the countries that partially or fully, either fully or partially, they fall in between these two latitudes. They are called sunshine countries, because sun rays directly fall only in between this region, the region of the earth between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. So that's why these countries situated in between these two tropics, these two latitudes, they are known as sunshine countries. So specifically, although the membership of this ISA is not limited to only sunshine countries, as we know, France is not a sunshine country. So any country from all around the globe can become the member of International Solar Alliance. But its main mandate, exclusively it tries to scale up the deployment of solar energy, meaning the use, production of solar energy in sunshine countries, because they are having sunshine, they are having sunlight to produce solar energy, tremendous sunlight. So that's why it mandates. And how? Deployment how? Through attracting investment. Attracting huge investment. If you talk about investment, so it has a target about that. It has a target about the investment, and it says it would mobilize around $1 trillion, more than $1 trillion of investment. More than $1 trillion of investment. This is huge, humongous investment up to 2030. This is one of the mandates of this International Solar Alliance, to mobilize more than $1 trillion of investment up to 2030. For what? For solar energy products. For solar energy projects. Solar energy projects in the countries that are party to the International Solar Alliance, specifically talking about sunshine countries. So this is one of the key mandates of this International Solar Alliance. Now, my friends, coming to the next important thing, that since this organization, this International Solar Alliance, it was established, it was announced in 2015, but it entered into force only in 2017. It entered into force, just a second, yes, entered into force only in 2017, in the month of December, when minimum required number of member countries ratified it. Because into force when minimum required number of countries ratified it. Since International Solar Alliance is a treaty-based international intergovernmental organization. Treaty-based meaning framework agreement of the alliance is binding over the member countries. That is known as treaty-based. If any organization, any international organization or alliance is a treaty-based organization or alliance, then it means the framework agreement of that organization or the alliance is legally binding over the member countries, meaning member countries are legally bound to just follow that framework agreement. So that's why, since this is a legally binding, since this is a treaty-based international intergovernmental organization, it means it is legally binding over the member countries. So its legal foundation, it came into force in 2017, meaning it became legal binding in 2017 when the minimum required number of countries ratified it. So it came into force. This alliance, it came into force. The framework agreement of this alliance, it came into force. Now, so this is the key thing about this organization. Now, my friends, as of now, if we talk about as of now, so it has around 124 countries, as its members. And this organization, it is headquartered at Gurugram, in India. Gurugram is located in Haryana, in India. So its headquarters, they are located in Gurugram, in Haryana, in India. And this is the first international treaty-based intergovernmental organization which is headquartered in India. Remember, this is the only one treaty-based international intergovernmental organization that is headquartered in India. This can be the question at any moment of time in our future exams. So always keep in mind. This can also make one of the statements in any question. So this is the only treaty-based, meaning legally binding, international intergovernmental organization that is headquartered in India, in Gurugram, Haryana. So this was all about International Solar Alliance. It is establishing India as a global leader in terms of solar energy, solar alliance, solar cooperation among different countries, specifically sunshine countries. Now, my friends, coming over next major initiative, that is CDRI. CDRI. What does it mean? It means Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. As the name suggests, it is a global partnership, coalition of different countries, meaning a global partnership that tries to promote the infrastructure which is disaster resilient, meaning which is not prone to the disasters, meaning stable. The infrastructure, for example, roads, electricity lines, water tap, pipelines, etc. They are stable even during disasters like flooding, like earthquakes, like landslides. So it aims to build an infrastructure in the member countries that is disaster resilient, meaning stable even during the times of disaster, so that the impact of disaster could be minimized and the impact on the livelihoods of the persons living there, that could be minimized. Because you can imagine when there is any disaster at any place, so large number of people, they suffer because of the loss in infrastructure. There is no water supply, no electricity supply, no any connectivity, because everything is washed away when there is any big disaster happening at any place. So it is aimed to provide that kind of infrastructure, that resilient infrastructure which could withstand the intensity of different sort of disasters in terms of flooding, earthquakes, etc., cyclones, etc. So this is the coalition aimed for creating, building and maintaining the disaster resilient infrastructure in member countries. Now, my friends, this CDRI, it was proposed by Prime Minister Modi during a conference on disaster risk reduction, proposed by our Prime Minister during a conference on disaster risk reduction, in 2016 in New Delhi. So this CDRI, it was first proposed by our Prime Minister in 2016 during a conference on disaster risk reduction that was taking place in New Delhi. But it was formally launched in 2019. Just a second. It was formally launched only in 2019 during a UN summit known as UN Climate Action Summit. UN Climate Action Summit. Climate Action Summit. And this summit was taking place in New York, in United States. So it was formally launched in 2019 during a UN summit known as UN Climate Action Summit that was taking place in New York in United States. Formally launched. Though it was originally proposed by India, and it is India-led initiative, global initiative. Now, this CDRI, since it talks about the reduction of disaster risk, meaning maintaining infrastructure which is withstanding even the times of disasters. So it also aligns with a similar global framework known as Sendai framework. Sendai framework on disaster risk reduction. Sendai framework. It aligns with the Sendai framework, and this Sendai framework, it was also launched. This Sendai framework, it was also launched under the leadership of United Nations in Japan, when a summit on disaster risk reduction was taking place in Japan. Then the Sendai framework was launched, and our CDRI, meaning India-led CDRI, it aligns with the objectives of Sendai framework, which also tries to minimize the impact of disasters over the human lives and over the infrastructure and various associated things. So our CDRI, it also aligns with the similar framework, global framework named as Sendai framework, my friends. Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction, led by UN, and UN agreement, you can say. UN agreement on disaster risk reduction. Now, so this was about CDRI. Now coming over the next important international initiative that is led by India. The next one is, when we talk about the next important initiative that is led by India, it is very popular, known as Mission Life. This is a mission and named Mission Life. What does it mean? It means lifestyle for environment. Lifestyle for environment. LI stands for lifestyle, F stands for, E stands for environment. Lifestyle for environment. As we know, nowadays in the era of globalization, our lifestyles are becoming a very kind of we can say unnatural kind of lifestyles, meaning not nature friendly. And because of this reason, because of our lives, they are going beyond nature, meaning they are not now synced with the nature. We are using pesticides in agriculture, various types of pesticides in agriculture, various types of fertilizers in agriculture, and then consuming those produces that are coming from the same agriculture. So it means we are also consuming pesticides and fertilizers in the form of our food chains. So how can our lifestyle be sustainable? So we are just making our lifestyle unsustainable. And this mission, it talks about to make our lifestyle to be sustainable lifestyle, to be environment friendly lifestyle. Meaning we are consuming and managing our lifestyle which is in sync and that supports the environment, not just degrades the environment. So it talks about that kind of change in the lifestyle, which is becoming environment friendly, supporting the preservation, protection of environment rather than degrading it. If we just see nowadays our lifestyle, it is more degrading the environment than conserving it. So that's why this mission becomes very important to protect and conserve our environment as well as our health. Because as much as we align our health with the environment, we'll become more healthier. For example, if we start consuming organic products mean coming from organic farming. So those products, those produces, organic produces, for example, vegetables, etc., they'll strengthen our health because there is no any use of pesticide or you can say chemical fertilizers, etc., in the production process of those organic produces. So that's why, meaning obtaining environment friendly lifestyle, it means that we are also taking care of our health, meaning our health is also getting more and more good day by day. So this mission is talking about that kind of lifestyle, mission life. This mission life, it was announced by PM Modi at COP 2060 summit. It was announced at COP, sorry, just a second, COP 26 summit. Yes, COP 26 summit that took place in Glasgow, in United Kingdom. So during this summit, it was announced, but this mission, it was formally launched. It was formally launched only in October 22. Formally launched only in October 22. Only in October 22 during an event which was happening at Kevadia in Gujarat. Kevadia is a renowned place in Gujarat. We have the tallest statue, that is statue of our great leader Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, known as Statue of Unity, that is also located in Kevadia in Gujarat. So Kevadia is very popular. When an event was taking place in Kevadia in Gujarat, then it was formally launched, meaning Mission Life was formally launched by Prime Minister Modi of India in the presence of the Secretary General of United Nations, Antonio Guterres. Secretary General of United Nations, UN Secretary General. It was announced by PM Modi in the presence of United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres when an event was taking place in Kevadia in Gujarat in October 2022. Then this mission was formally launched by Prime Minister Modi, formally announced. So this mission, as we know, that it talks about the sustainable lifestyle, so it also aligns with the circular model of economy. It also aligns with as we know, the circular model of economy, my friends. Circular model of economy. Circular model of economy. What does the circular model of economy say? Circular model just talks about, meaning circular model just talks about extremely efficient use of resources, so that there is nothing going for the waste, meaning almost minimum creation of waste from our daily lifestyles, from our uses of different materials, minimum creation of waste. How? Circular model of economy, it talks about, for example, if any product is made, so it is called make, and after the product is made, we use it. So we use it, and then after it talks about recycling the product. Then after, just a second, Then after, it talks about recycle, meaning making the product, then after using it, and when it becomes unusable, recycle it, refurbish the product, and then after reuse it, and when again it becomes not usable, unusable, then again refurbish, then again refurbish, meaning making and refurbishing, and then again using, again recycling, again reusing, again refurbishing and making. So this entire process is taking place in a cycle. There is no any generation of waste, because in linear model of economy, we make the product, we use the product, we discard the product and make it waste. Then the product becomes waste, we throw it out. But in circular model of economy, we are talking about circulation of the material, so that the waste is generated, that is minimum, and environmental loss is also minimum together with that. So this lifestyle model, it also talks about minimum generation of waste, meaning first of all efficient use of resource, so that we are using minimum required resources, not too many, and then after using, recycling, reusing, making it again, so in a cycle. So then waste is not generated, and as of now, mostly in most of the countries, we follow linear model of economy, in which the products are made, used, then discarded and thrown away, and they generate tremendous waste, huge waste. So that is linear model. And here we talk about refurbishing, reusing, refurbishing. As you know, many times you see in the sales in Flipkart and Amazon that you say refurbished product. That means the product which was discarded by somebody was taken back, and then it was refurbished, recycled, and then again it is being sold out. So refurbished product, when you see in Amazon or Flipkart or any website like that, it means it is propagating the circular model of uses of different products and materials. Now, so this was all about mission life, my friends. Now coming over the next important initiative, that is GBA, Global Biofuel Alliance. Global Biofuel Alliance. This is next major initiative in a national initiative that is led by India. This Global Biofuel Alliance, it was launched and led by India. It was launched by India in 2023 at the sidelines of G20 summit. G20 summit, when it was taking place in New Delhi, as we know. G20 summit of 2023, it was taking place in New Delhi. Then it was launched by India along with the various other countries like Brazil, etc. So it was launched, led by India, launched by India along with some other countries at the sidelines of G20 summit in 2023. This Global Biofuel Alliance. And this alliance talks about the production and usage of biofuels. Biofuels. What are biofuels? When we talk about biofuels, it means biodiesel, it means ethanol, it means biogas, etc. Those are biofuels. And why they are important? Why we are promoting biofuels? Because they generate minimum carbon, meaning carbon emission of the biofuels is extremely low. So they do not cause much global warming, as we know. When we use traditional fuel like petrol, diesel, etc., they have huge carbon footprint, meaning emitting tremendous carbon in the environment, and that carbon in turn is causing global warming. So that's why we are stressing over the uses of biofuels like ethanol, like biodiesel, biogas, etc. And this is also India-led initiative launched at the sidelines of G20 summit that was taking place in 2023 in New Delhi, my friends. Now, coming over the next important initiative, which is a global initiative and India-led. that is IBCA. IBCA, International Big Cat Alliance. Big Cat Alliance. This initiative, my friend, it was launched by PM Modi in April 2023. Launched by Prime Minister Modi, our Prime Minister Modi, in April 2023 during the 50th celebration. 50th anniversary celebration of Project Tiger. Project Tiger, which is a project of India. Project Tiger launched in 1973 for the protection and conservation of tigers. So this Project Tiger, it completed its 50 years in 2023. And on that occasion, on that celebration, it was announced by Prime Minister Modi that India is going to lead an international initiative, launching an international initiative known as International Big Cat Alliance. International Big Cat Alliance. And it mandates for the protection and preservation of 7 big cats. 7 big cats. 7 big cats and their habitats. 7 big cats and their habitats. What are those 7 big cats? Those are lion, tiger, leopard, snow leopard. Then after we have panther. Then after we have jaguar and puma. So 7 big cats. Protection of those 7 big cats, preservation of those 7 big cats, and preservation of their habitats as well, because habitat loss is one of the most important factors that is endangering these 7 big cats. So that's why when we talk about protection of big cats, we must protect and preserve their habitation, meaning habitat, natural environment. Now, so this IBCA, it talks about the providing a global framework for the conservation of 7 big cats. Global framework for the conservation of 7 big cats, as we talked. Now, coming over, its headquarters is situated in New Delhi. The headquarters of this initiative, IBCA, it is also located in New Delhi, my friends. And now, it was recently in news as well. Why was it in news? Because recently, during Putin's visit of India, Russia also adopted its framework agreement to become its 19th member. 19th member. Meaning, during a recent visit of Vladimir Putin to India in early December 2025, Russia adopted the framework agreement of IBCA and became its 19th member. Russia, for your information, Russia is one of the 13 tiger range countries. India is also one of them. But the membership of IBCA is not only limited to tiger range countries, because this could be a twisting statement made by the commission in the exam. So let's be clear that Russia is one of the tiger range countries, India is too. But the membership of IBCA is not only limited to tiger range countries, meaning any country, even beyond tiger range, can become the member of IBCA. So this was all about this organization. Now coming over the next important global initiative, which is India-led, that is Global Green Credit Initiative. Global Green Credit Initiative. Global, my friends, Global Green Credit Initiative. Global Green Credit Initiative. Global Green Credit Initiative. And it was formally launched by Prime Minister Modi during COP28 summit in December 2023. COP28 summit on 1st of December 2023, which was taking place in Dubai. in Dubai. So this global green credit initiative, it was formally launched by Prime Minister Modi during COP28 summit that was taking place on 1st of December 2023 in Dubai. And the next important thing with this green credit initiative, that it talks about, it is a market-based mechanism that rewards voluntary environmental actions. It is a kind of market-based mechanism that rewards voluntary environmental actions of individuals, organizations, or any community, etc., through awarding them green credits. Green credits, they are tradable instruments and they could be sold to earn profits. So this mechanism tries to incentivize the people, societies, communities, organizations to go for environmental initiatives, meaning for the protection of environment and for the preservation of environment. If any individual throughout the life is trying to preserve the environment, protect the environment, working for the environment, that individual must be incentivized so that others could also get motivated, and incentives through providing them green credits, tradable instrument that could be sold to earn profits. So this mechanism is just interlinking global incentive-based environmental mechanism. Incentive-based environmental mechanism. Global incentive-based environmental mechanism. So this was all about, my friends, all the important international organizations or initiatives or alliances that are led by India. We discussed here in this one lecture today. They could be extremely important for our upcoming exam. And one more additional information, when we discussed about ISA, International Solar Alliance, CDRI, about disaster resilient infrastructure, GBA, Global Biofuel Alliance, and Mission Life, and GGCI, Green Credit Initiative, Global Green Credit Initiative. So these 5 India-led international initiatives, my friend, they are set of flagship initiatives, flagship India-led initiatives, India-led global initiatives that are primarily for international climate initiatives. You can say that they are primarily international climate initiatives, international climate related initiatives, meaning these initiatives are international type of initiatives led by India and talk about the protection of climate, meaning just avoiding global warming and avoiding climate change, meaning climate related initiatives. So these 5 are the flagship climate related initiatives, international initiatives that are primarily led by India, my friends. So this is also one of the key features of this discussion today that we must know. Now, my friends, we completed our entire discussion here in this lecture today about all those international initiatives that are led by India. I hope that you enjoyed this lecture and this could be very useful for your upcoming exams. Thank you very much for joining in. Have a very good day.